Okay, then what is time series analysis? Time series analysis is just a collection of all statistical methods used to analyze time series. And for time series analysis, we actually have two approaches. One is called the time domain approach. In the time domain approach, we construct a time series model for use in the time relationship, time function. Like, how is the value today related to the value yesterday and the day before, and so on and so forth. All this has something to do with time. So that's the time domain approach. And then there's the frequency domain approach. The frequency domain approach means that you look at the time series in terms of their magnitude at different frequencies. And your choice of approach really depends on the application. For example, in the engineering area, you would very much use the frequency domain approach. In that approach, engineers use Fourier series analysis to try to decompose the time series and look at the phenomena at different frequencies. So that's the so-called frequency domain approach. And our textbook discusses univariate time series, vector time series, and the time domain approach and the frequency domain approach. It's a very comprehensive textbook, but for our course, because we emphasize the evolution of a time series, we will therefore very much, most of the time, do our models in terms of time. And it's also possible that the clients you deal with later on will more easily understand in terms of time structure. So therefore we will focus on the time domain approach. And we will not touch the frequency domain approach. But in the Stats department at Temple University, there is a course called Stats 8105 that does discuss the frequency domain approach. Now, what's the purpose of time series analysis? The most important purpose is to try to understand the underlying generating process. In other words, based on one time series, you will try to find out what's the possible underlying stochastic process generating this phenomenon. And then once you understand that, you're going to try to construct that generating process. Then you can use that to forecast the future values. And you can also do a control process. A control process example, for example, your output is below a certain target, then you do some adjustment. So you can monitor your processes and fine-tune them along the way.